Hey guys, welcome to my first ever official YouTube video. I am so excited. I've had a lot of people ask if I could document this next prep, and I figured why not? So I'm really excited to share the ins and outs of preps and what my protocol looks like. And before I get started and dive into my week by week protocols and what is changing, I'd love to give you guys a little bit of a background on me and my experience competing so far, and what looks different this year. So last year was my first ever season competing in the NPC. I did 3 shows. All 3 shows I placed top 5 in all of the categories I competed in, and my last show of the season last year I did nationally qualify in second place at the Dennis James in Scottsdale, Arizona. I wanted to give a little bit of a background on like my coaching experience, and what will look different this year. So let's go back to I think it was June of 2021. Yeah, June of 2021. I had hired what I think is my first ever real bodybuilding coach. I had coaches in the past, and I'd always said, I wanted to compete. I did an INBA show like years and years ago, and it was more of like a goal rather than like, wanting to be competitive. I'd come from being extremely overweight, almost 200 pounds at one point, and it was truly just like, I want to step on stage. And I did the damn thing. Like I lost a ton of weight. I went from like, I think it was like 186 at the time to I think my stage weight was 118. And I looked good for like compared to what I had looked. And I wasn't like competitive by any means, but it was, a milestone for me. And it kind of like was this driving force for me to get back into competing and be competitive. So fast forward 7 years, 6 years after my INBA show, and I hired, like I said, what I think was my first true bodybuilding coach. I signed up with this person because I loved the energy that they put out on social media. They seemed to just drive this amazing group of women who were like dedicated and just like hardworking, and I absolutely loved it. So I honestly credit this person for making me a bodybuilder. We had worked together from when I signed up in June, and we started our first prep in at the end of November. So we had our sight set on the Phil Heath. You okay? The Phil Heath in Texas, and I was just about to move to Texas at this point. So we had started our prep in late November, and we were going to do a 17-week prep to the Phil Heath. I ended up moving to Texas in January, and right after I moved, I got sick, I got allergies, I got the C word, and ended up having to move our first show back. So my prep ended up being extremely long, and a lot of that, had to do with me getting sick. And anyway, we chose the Southwest in Arlington, Texas for our actual NPC debut. I did really well in that show. I think it was 5th in true novice, and then 3rd in novice, and 3rd in open. So not a bad first showing. I was actually extremely proud of myself, and what we had put on stage. Right after that show, we had planned on doing the Kuklo. Things changed, and we ended up moving that show back to the Adela, which was June 4th instead. So my first show was May 7th, and then my second show was planned for the Adela Classic on June 4th. About 10 days out from my second show, I don't know if it was prep brain or what, people in the bodybuilding community talk a lot, and all of a sudden I started like second guessing my coach. And I had made the uncomfortable and hard decision to switch coaches very last minute and super deep into my prep. I had spent so the 10 days with the new coach going into the Adela. We ended up placing 3rd in novice and 5th in open. So we kind of like flip-flopped there. We didn't have very much time working together. And then we did a little bit of a refeed, and we went to my 3rd and final show of the 2022 season, which was the Dennis James Classic in Scottsdale, where I ended up taking 2nd and nationally qualifying in that show. So my overall first season went super awesome. I honestly, like, sure, would I have wanted to, take home an overall win? I think anyone would want that. But for a first season, I was super, super proud of the outcome. I was extremely proud of the work that I put in. I didn't know that I was capable of working so hard for such a long period of time. So it was truthfully like an eye opener for me. I surprised myself, and I absolutely fell in love with the process. Post prep, it was kind of a whirlwind of emotions. Truthfully, I was all over the place. I thought that, my relationship with food was going to be good post show. I was super naive. I thought I would never be that person that was like, oh, no, I'm struggling with, binging or any of that. But wow, you go from being in such extremes to like, everything your cardio, your fasted cardio, your workouts. You have such a routine, and post prep you kind of have like the post show blues. Like I didn't really know what to do, and I kind of turned to food. Like I just loved eating. Like so I had a weird experience post show, and I wasn't super happy with my newer coaches response to the way that I was feeling. I just felt like I needed a little bit more personal approach, and someone that I felt was listening to me. And so that leads me to where I'm at now. So I am now with Alex Bush at Physique Development, and going into this prep, I feel so confident and comfortable and just relaxed about this next season that we have planned together. So we are, as I'm now recording this, we are starting week 2 of prep, and I'm super, super excited for you guys to follow along this journey, and I will keep you guys posted.